All right, guys, I hope you're ready to go over this practice test. Now, there's two ways you could do this. You could do the practice test with me, or you could try it on your own and then check with this video. So that's up to you. All right, so these are the level 1 questions. We'll get started. Pause at any time if you want to do some, check, pause, do some, check, pause. That's okay too. All right, so this one just says write positive or negative next to the question to tell me what type of answer you will get. So it's not, I don't want the answer, I just want the type of answer. So you're writing the word positive or negative. When I add these, because 15 is larger than 13, I'm going to get a negative answer here. Here, because these two numbers are both positive, I will get a positive answer. Over here, because the 12 is larger when I'm adding, I'm going to get a positive answer. And this last one, because they are both negative, I am going to get a negative answer. There we go. Nice and easy. All right, this next question is asking, what type of decimal are these? Are these terminating or repeating decimals? So terminating means it ends or stops. So this particular one is terminating because it ends. It does not show any kind of repeating. It's just decimal point 1235, which is a terminating decimal. This is 34 hundredths. Again, also a terminating decimal. Does not show anything, any kind of repeating. However, this one does. This is 93 hundredths repeating because of that bar notation. That is a repeating decimal. What this really would mean is the 3, because the bar notation is only on the 3. The 3's would repeat on and on and on. Okay. Next question, level 1 question, is underlining key or highlighting keywords or information that you would need to help you figure out what operation to use. So I'm reading this problem, I'm going to try to figure out, is it adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? According to this one, on Mount Everest, the low temperature was negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit last year. In the Sahara Desert, the high temperature was 114 degrees Fahrenheit last year. What is the difference between the temperature on difference between the high temperature in the Sahara and the low temperature on Mount Everest? So there's one little word in here that helps you, and that's that word right there. And that means to subtract. Cool. Next one. This is actually, you have to actually solve this one. I should write solve on it. If you didn't and you thought it was just underlining, then go back and solve it. The morning temperature in Hawaii was 83 degrees Fahrenheit. A few hours later, the temperature went up 15 degrees. Write and solve an expression that represents this situation. So it was 83 degrees Fahrenheit, then it went up 15 degrees. So 83 degrees and then went up means the temperature increased. And because those are same signs, I'm just going to add them out here on the side. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 is 9. So the temperature is now 98 degrees. Cool. Next page. Moving on to our level 2 questions, which involve number lines. So based on the number line, write an expression that's displayed and solve it. So starting point, -1. Ending point, right here, -5. And then I just have to figure out how many spots this is. 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. And I'm moving in this direction, which is subtraction. So -4 would work. Another way you could write that, if you wanted to use the additive inverse, is leave, change, and then inverse, which would also get you the same answer. So both of these are actually technically correct. Number 6 is the same kind of question, starting and ending. It's a little off, but that's okay. We're going to start there. -5, and then we're ending at -3. Because I'm moving in this direction, it has to be plus, and I moved 2 spots, so it's +2. And again, I can always double check this by doing, same signs, add different signs. These are different signs, but subtract them and get 3. And it's negative because the 5 has a larger value than 2. All right, moving on to just some more simpler adding and subtracting problems. So again, our rules for adding is same signs add, different signs subtract, and our subtracting rule is leave, change, inverse. And what happens after we do that is we change it into an adding problem, and then we have to use our adding rules. So this is a different sign subtract situation. So 25 take away 3, 25, 24, 23, 22 is 22, and it's going to be negative because 25 is larger than 3. Over here, this is a subtraction problem, so I'm automatically going to write this on top of it and do the 3 steps. Now it's an adding problem, also with different signs, so I'm going to have to subtract it. 18 take away 6, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. I get 12, and it's going to stay positive because 18 has a larger value than negative 6. Over here, they're fractions, but they already have common denominators, which makes this really easy to do. I just now need to add the numerators. These are same signs, so I'm going to add them to get negative 6, and the denominator stays exactly the same. This last one deals with decimals. These are different signs, so I'm going to have to subtract them. The 12 and 6/10 is larger than 9 and 4/10, so I'm going to subtract them in this order. And I get 3 and 2/10, but my final answer is going to be negative because 12 and 6/10 is a larger value than 9 and 4/10. And last one on this page, scoot it up. Sarah borrowed $50.85 from her sister to buy concert tickets. The next day she borrowed $24.75 for dinner. Which expression represents this situation? So she's borrowing money, and then she's borrowing more money. Well, that obviously means borrowing money means taking money, which means you owe somebody money, which is going to be negative. So it's not going to be either one of these because she's borrowing the $50 and she's borrowing the $24.75, which means it has to be D. She's going to owe her sister a lot of money when she's done. Okay. Moving on, next page. Now we're up to level 3 questions, a little bit harder fractions and decimal questions. So again, add or subtract, same rules here, same signs add, different signs subtract, and subtraction, leave, change, inverse. So because this is a subtraction problem, leave, change, inverse. The opposite of 9 and 65/100ths is negative 9 and 65/100ths. Now these are same signs, so I'm going to add them up. 15 and 1/10, 9 and 65/100ths. I might want to add this 0 here as just like a placeholder, so I can add with my decimal points lined up. Final answer is actually going to be negative because these both numbers are negative. So negative 24 and 75/100ths. This guy is an adding problem. Look up my adding rules. These are different signs, so I'm going to have to subtract them, knowing that 11 and 1/10 is larger than 7 and 25/100ths. Another 0 as a placeholder, but I'm going to have to subtract them according to the different sign subtract rule. Looks like I'm going to have to do some borrowing. Do my regular subtraction. There's a 0. That makes that 10. 8. That's 10. Minus 7 makes 3. And my final answer is going to be negative because 11 has a larger value than 7. One more time over here. Again, another different sign subtract situation. So I am going to subtract, get a placeholder in there. And subtract, but this time my answer is going to be positive because 16 has a larger value than negative 2 and 7/10. Alright, fractions. This time I actually have to make common denominators. I like to first check to see if 2 can be made into 12, like the smaller number can be multiplied by something to make the bigger number, and it can. I have to multiply 2 times 6 to get 12. So then I also have to multiply the numerator by 6 to get 12, and that would get me negative 12 and negative 5. And then I just, same signs add. 12 plus 5 makes 17. The answer will stay negative, and I'm just going to leave it like that. Next one. Again, can I multiply something by 3 to get 4? Actually, I can't. So the second trick is I can always multiply 3 times 4 together, and I will get a common denominator. It might not always be the least common denominator, but it will always be a common denominator. So then I have to just multiply this side of the fraction by 4, and I have to multiply this side of the fraction by 3. That way this will become 12, and this will become 12. This side, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. And I also have to change it. So let's do that real quick. Plus, opposite, or inverse. Whew. And finally, these are different signs, so I have to subtract them. Negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5 over 12. All right. And the last one up here. Again, can I make 9 into 18 by multiplying? I actually can. I just have to multiply it by 2. So this second fraction will stay exactly the same. This first fraction will turn into 10 over 18. These are also different signs to subtract. 10 minus 1 makes 9, and that will stay positive because 10 has a larger value than 1. Alright, a gallon of milk sitting in the refrigerator is 7/8 full after breakfast. The jug is now 1/16 full. Find the difference, there's that word again, of the amount of milk before and after breakfast. So again, looking at that order, we know we have to do subtraction. Difference is before breakfast and then after breakfast. Checking my common denominators, I know I can make 8 into 16 by multiplying by 2. My new numerator will be 14, and when I subtract them, I will get 13 out of 16. And I think, one more page. Another word problem, and then some converting. You buy a bag of dog food for $16.59, and a bottle of dog shampoo for $5.75. How much more? Now, it's not just how much. That word more is super important. How much more? That's a comparing situation. And when I'm comparing, I need to subtract. How many more pencils do you have than me? How much taller am I than you? When I'm comparing, we're going to subtract. We're going to do this subtraction, but I can't do it like this. I'm going to have to do it vertically and line up my decimal places. Do some borrowing. Get my fingers out because I like to do my math on my fingers. Final answer is $10.84. I spent more $10.84 on the dog food than the dog shampoo. And the last two says convert them into decimal form. I'm going to do this one first. Remember, this says 4 divided by 5. We go in that order. So the 4 goes inside, divided by 5. Now, I know they don't go in. So we're going to have to add a decimal point and a 0. We might have to add a couple zeros. We'll see how it goes. 5 goes into 40. I'm going to move that decimal point straight up. 5 goes into 40 exactly 8 times, because 8 times 5 makes 40. And I'm done. Well, that was quick. So this final answer is 8/10. Not bad. 2 divided by 11. 2 goes to the inside, 11 goes on the outside. I know it doesn't go in, so I have to add a 0. Now 11 times table is one of my favorite because it's so easy to do. It's 11, 22, 33, 44. So I know it can only go in one time. Move that decimal point up. So I'm only going to get 11. But when I subtract, I'm going to get 9. Now, obviously, I'm not at a 0 yet, like this one was, so I'm going to have to bring down another 0. And I'm going to keep going until I'm either repeating or I terminate, which means I end. So 11 goes into 98 times because it'll get 88. When I subtract, I get 2. Okay, nothing yet. I'm going to bring down a 0. But now I'm back to 220 again, which is what I started with. 11 goes into 20 one time. And when I subtract, sorry, it's 11. When I subtract, again, I get 9. So then we all know what's going to happen here. I'm going to get 8 again, and then I'm going to get 1 again, and then I'm going to get 8 again. So this final answer, the 1 and the 8 are both going to repeat in this. So I am going to write it like this with a bar notation over the 1 and the 8, showing that eventually the 8 will repeat, and then the 1 will repeat. And then the 8 will repeat, and then the 1 will repeat. So it will just keep going on and on and on. I don't have to go so much into this division to see that, but I can see the pattern pretty quickly. Alright, that's all I have for you today. I hope you had fun going over a practice test in preparation for your real test. Good luck. The Deck Toys is there for you to practice and watch any videos that you need. So good luck, and we'll see you soon.